Welcome, everyone, to another Adventure into Reality live call-in show. We will be going to our callers here in just a minute. Just as a notification, if you want to be a caller today and not a chicken shit, you can go into the show description. You can go into the chat that will be regularly posted in there. Reminder, everyone, in the top left corner is the QR code for the Bootcamp Part 2 and the webinar that goes with it. For those of you who are ready to start your motivational process into getting your life together. As a subject matter, I want to bring up the sizzle, sizzle, drizzle, drizzle movement. For those of you who know what it is, please have a conversation with me about the toxicity in dating of both men and women. This is not just a reading call-in show. You could talk to me with anything you want. We also request, if you've called in the last month, please refraining from calling until it's been about 1 month since you've been on. We've got a lot of people who want to get in, and there are times where no one wants to come into the waiting room because there are chicken people. And that's okay. I regularly call people chicken shits. Last week's show was titled The Chicken Shit Show, and we only had a few moments there while it was done. With that, we have a non-chicken shit people waiting even before the show started. And with that said, Joel, spin up the wheel of callers of non-chicken shits and see who's our first caller today.
All right, calling first non-chicken shit. Timo, you're on the air.
Timo, are you there?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Can you see me?
I can hear you. I can see you. And where are you calling from?
Amazing. I'm calling from near Cologne, Germany, Bergheim. It's a small town. And calling from the future. It's a bit late here.
Cologne, Germany. Welcome to the show. What do you want to talk about today?
First, I want to say that I really miss your comedy shows with Monty Dean. There was some amazing shit in there. Especially, I remember Gary the Grey and the Grey Conspiracy Pods. That was amazing. I really loved that show.
That was a lot of great improv that we did.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to flip the frequency a little bit. I want to bring something comedic to you, if I'm allowed.
Okay, go ahead.
So when I first heard, you know how language can sometimes play weird tricks on our mind. I mean, I'm not a native speaker of English, obviously. I studied English. Yeah. And when I first heard the term wheel of colors, I didn't really give much notice to it. Didn't really think about it. But in the back of my mind, I understood something completely different. I understood wheel of colors. And somewhere in the back of my mind, a little movie played where Robert was spinning a wheel like in the colors of all the chakras and magically deciding who's going to be next.
Robert did have a mystical picking system of point and click.
I can imagine.
The randomness of it. And Joel's mystical system is developing even stronger now. The wheel of collars force is strong with this producer. So how did you find out about me?
I found out about you. I think I saw you on an interview with Laura Eisenhower. Laura Eisenhower. I was really deep in the conspiracy rabbit hole back in the day, and I'm really happy that you helped get me out of there. And I've been following your teachings basically ever since, and I think I'm really doing it. I'm on the way of the self-enlightened master. At least I think I am. And basically, I've been working with your teachings for a couple of years now, but also like creatively making up my own spiritual journey. And it's something I learned from you. So firstly, I want to say really thank you. Thank you so much.
What are some of the Andrewisms that you've heard me say, one-liners that have stuck out for you?
The Andrewisms. One of the best one, oh my God, was about a nothing burger with a shit topping on it or something like that. It was in one of your Galactic history shows.
The shit Subway sandwich, yes.
Yes, that was amazing.
Are you ready to have your shit sandwich again?
Yeah, fed to me, exactly. Put me on the fire seat. Anyway, I can't really remember anything else. Now I'm a little bit nervous. It's much for me, like being live on the air. But what did I want to talk about? I wanted to basically get your take on my life, I guess.
Well, tell me a little about your life and let me tune in. Do you know how it works? You've heard me do this a lot.
Yes, of course. So basically, my father died of brain cancer when I was 12 years old. I was a daddy kid, and that was really tough for me. I experienced my first bouts of severe depression during my youth years, and I basically had to, let's say, grow up way too quickly. And my way to cope was, at the time, smoking weed, and I got into a bit of a creative process there. And at some point, it really felt like, I don't know, everything was accelerating. And I got to one point in a flow-like state where I had a vision. Really, my third eye opened for the first time, and oh my God, I had an amazing vision that was in '99, that was like 17 years old, microdosing on grass, weed back in the day. And it was a vision where I was basically seeing myself, my consciousness float in space, looking into the sun. And as the sun was like sending out rays in all directions, letters were like, no, not letters, characters like a language was flowing back into the sun from all directions. And it was really powerful. And I was asking myself, what is that? And suddenly I had a voice inside of me that told me everything that it is, everything that was, and everything that ever will be. And I guess that was my first experience with, was that an experience with the Akashic Chronicles? I don't know.
No, that was a unity consciousness stream where you're tapping into everything is, was, it ever will be.
That totally makes
I
sense.
I use that line throughout my teachings. All it
Yes.
is, was, and ever will be. Okay.
Yes.
And and then the alternate could haves, should haves, and would haves. Okay. Now it's a common frequency of understanding, and then having the greater vision of the ocean of awareness, the sea of consciousness, and the ocean of awareness, and where we fit in between the different seas or oceans of consciousness and awareness. And as we transition to higher states of cognitive consciousness, meaning we're actually, as a human here, processing the grander form of data into an experience.
Yes, yes, that totally makes sense. Yeah, thank you also for the vocabulary in that kind of regard. It took me almost 20 years to really digest that spiritual experience. It was really tough back in the day. It basically kicked me into psychosis. It was really bad afterwards. I thought I was like some kind of messiah or something like that. I don't know. It was like I had a bout of really bad psychosis. And many years later, I was also diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I guess I have that now also, but it's like under control. I mean, taking meds and doing psychotherapy, and that's totally going fine for me. But
what kind of career path did you take?
You might find it funny. I worked in the games industry, in the online gaming industry, as a marketing manager.
Do you work for a company, or are you independent?
I used to work for an agency, for a marketing agency, an independent one, and I worked with some of the really big publishers out there, some like the brands like Fortnite, League of Legends, and also once worked on a Dune game, the Dune universe. Was very proud of that one. But I basically killed my marketing career about 1 year ago when I had a really bad crisis. It was so bad that I basically actually had to go to a psychiatric hospital. And since then, I'm basically on sick leave, and I'm doing fine now. But I really want to change my career. I think I need something that gives me structure in life. The last job I was doing.
What was the breakdown about?
The breakdown was about not being able to do sales anymore, because the last job I was on was a sales job. And sales is something, I had a sales job back in 2016, also like was head of sales also for a marketing agency. And I had a burnout back in the day, some mini burnout, whatever you might call it. And I swore to myself I would never do this job again. And then I was forced to do it by my bosses. And I told myself, okay, I'm going to do this until I find a new job. I'm going to apply, which I did. I only got rejections, didn't find an alternative, and I felt absolutely trapped. I felt so trapped. It felt like there is absolutely no way out for me. And at that point, shit got tough. I mean, I had suicidal thoughts.
It's because you didn't stand up to your word, and you had to violate an oath you made to yourself.
True.
You could have quit the job and been out of work for a few months and eventually found something else. but that couldn't even come across your plate because you were too afraid. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when we have breakdowns like that, it's part of a grander spiritual teaching for yourself. Well, you have kind of a right idea. You got to get right out of the field. Okay. That doesn't mean get out of the computer games or computer field itself. It's just you got to put yourself on the back end concept. You're not going to be a front end personality anymore.
Mm.
Okay. But it also says there is the challenge. Well, what if you were to own your own business in the computer field? And let's just say it's just basic tech support. And you build up a local tech support community that goes to people, teaches them how to use computers, upgrades their computers. There's always a need for that beyond the big box, the doctors that are out there, computer people that are out there. Versus opening a small little computer shop that sells computers at gaming level, repairs locally. Is that something you think you could handle?
I think it's something I could handle, but it's not something I would like to do. I'm not that interested in hardware.
I'm only bringing that up. Is that a stressful job, or is that too stressful in your initial point of view?
No, it's not too stressful.
Okay. What would be something of your own business that would be too stressful? I want to see what you think your boundaries are.
Too stressful, potentially something therapeutic. I always wanted to do something therapeutic, but I don't think I can handle it. I had thought also after I listened to your last shows to do like hydrocolon therapy, something like that, like get an education in that. And I think there is definitely also here in Germany a big demand for that. But I'm not sure I could handle all the people and all the energies.
Okay, I think you could, but it's not the same thing as a sales job in any way, shape, or form. It's the technology sells itself, whatever it is, the healing journey that you're going to be going on. Okay. Now, your educational background is what, computer science? I got a bachelor's degree. What kind of education do you have?
That's actually a bit of a funny story. I studied Chinese and English for translation, so I'm a graduate translator. And I studied Chinese basically. It sounds so stupid, but because I saw these characters in this vision of unity consciousness that I had, and Chinese, I always had a fable for, let's say, Eastern Asian cultures, and this vision basically triggered something in me. So I had to choose very quickly usually we had to go to military service here in Germany for a year before we basically go to university, and I didn't have to go to military service, so I had to decide very quickly what I want to study, and that was basically my first impulse, study languages, study Chinese, it's awesome. And so I did, and I really loved it for a while, but I really fell out of love with China. That's a big problem, but I'm rekindling that passion. I'm studying Japanese now.
Okay. What made you lose the passion about China?
It sounds stupid, but firstly, the pollution. I couldn't handle living in China because of the pollution. Yeah. I think, really, if you haven't been there, it's so bad you can't even imagine.
People have no idea how bad the pollution is until you get there. Yes. Yeah,
it's like on a good day in Shanghai, it's like 3 times the value where they would have where they would sound the, what is it called, the fine particle alarms. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. No, you can't see building. You can't see building to building to building because it's the smog. Is
the skyscrapers are disappearing in the smog, and it was like very Blade Runner-esque when I was over there on some days. It was really weird. No, I couldn't handle that, and I couldn't handle the fact that China is not a free country. People are not free in their mind. They're basically caged, many of them. And I couldn't handle this.
How did the cultural racism get to you?
The cultural racism. That's interesting. That's an interesting word to use for it. I didn't ever consider it racism. I simply fell out of love with China because I met so many close-minded people at university, and at some point it made me realize, hey, this is not a free country, not like in the sense that we have freedom over here. And I don't know, I simply fell out of love with it. But yeah, it feels a bit weird to call me racist, but
it's cultural racism.
Mm.
There's a reason they call them Guaylo white devils. Okay?
Okay.
There's a reason. Just as white people have had racism to African Americans, as had Syrians racism to Jews, so on and so forth, it's a cultural racism that's broken into 42 minor secondary cultures, because China is really 42 cultures trying to be blended into one.
Yeah.
Okay. How much Japanese have you learned so far?
Not much. I've been basically learning it with an app for like 6 weeks. I've been enjoying it really much because I also started doing calligraphy again. But yeah,
how hard is the Japanese to learn compared to your Chinese? And does any of the Chinese help you learn Japanese?
Oh, the Chinese helps tremendously. The Japanese writing system is derived from Chinese, and they use about 2,000 Chinese characters alongside 2 alphabets, hiragana and katakana. And the Chinese characters are like super easy for me. I know most of them, not all of them, because some of them are like more ancient versions than the ones used in China today, but it's like super easy. But still,
if you were to go into a Japanese immersion process, how long do you think it would take for you to become business fluent?
Business fluent? Wow. At least 2 years if I put all of my effort into it.
Was that 40 hours a week, or is that part-time plus a job?
More, it's more like, I guess that would be more like 40 hours a week. It's not an easy language.
And that would mean the majority of your accent would be taken care of?
Probably. I don't know.
Because you have an American accent to your language, and that means your Chinese probably has an American accent to it, and your Japanese would have a weird Chinese American accent to it.
It's so funny to say because I'm German. Okay.
Okay, because you don't really speak like a German. You speak more like an American who's learned somebody else who's learned American through an American lens.
Okay.
I think that's from the cultures the inner business cultures that you're working for. I'm simply going to say this to you. In your current journey, spending more time learning the Japanese language with the ultimate goal to get business fluent in it would be very, very, very good idea for you to do. And then as you begin to save up money to be able to take regular trips to Japan and South Korea. Okay, the elderly population in Japan is dropping faster than ever, to the point where they've had a negative or zero birth rate for about going on 6 years. And the amount of people that are leaving the workforce versus entering it is so off scale right now that if they don't start mass opening up of citizenships there, the economy will eventually shut down in about 12 to 18 years.
Wow.
If they don't get people to take jobs there.
But that would mean for me to move over to Japan or Korea, which I'm not really prepared to do.
Yeah, but in the journey of 2 years, you can still work remote. Okay? There are other Japanese companies that are worldwide companies that still use the Japanese language, and there's a giant video game industry there that has a totally different working culture. Okay?
Yes. That's how I got into the video games industry in the first place.
Okay? Therefore, it's a multi-year growth process for you that allows you to one step at a time go, hey, I may not be ready to move there, but at least I'm adding this extra language to my journey, and the new jobs that I'm applying for, I can put on. I know Japanese. I may not be business fluent at it, but I know enough that I can start applying for more corporations worldwide, and you might find a job that's completely unique for you.
Sure.
Because you both speak Chinese, Japanese, German, American, mastered as got a degree as a translator, and then whatever background science, computer science stuff you understand.
Sure. Thank you. That's fascinating advice. I'll definitely.
You just may end up being a technical translator for business meetings.
Yeah, maybe, but the translation industry is really changing a lot these days. AI has made such tremendous changes to the whole translation process that basically translators these days are more like proofreaders. It's not really. That's not what I studied. It's something completely different, and all the technical developments. I'm not up to date, but hey, that's something
I'm gonna tell you this. I want to tell you this right now. When it comes to the translation industry, when the first sets of lawsuits for mistranslation come in court cases using AI translators, they will all go to the wayside.
Interesting.
Okay. The risk, you have to understand, there's a risk analysis journey that is going to go on as AI is implemented. We already have seen a law firm in Louisiana end up getting sued and then taken down by the courts because they used an AI to generate case law, and it completely made up case law that didn't exist. It had cited, sourced, and et cetera, et cetera. And there weren't people proofreading all of that.
Okay.
And it got once the court cases, business level court cases hit, AI will be a fastly forgotten fad, which means it'll be left to the how do I put this? The HR management journey. And once the HR management journey lawsuits kick in, it will go away and it'll be back to human and human. And where AI will take over are some of the technical line construction jobs where a robot can replace a human, where a robot can replace a burger flipper. How long before people stop going to McDonald's because there isn't a human flipping their burger? Okay. All that's going to end up backfiring on them. I can tell you that. And then the niche industry where AI takes over will be it. Now, media has already learned you cannot let AI generate all of your stories because it lies.
Yeah.
Okay. Worse than these reporters. So you still have a very big opportunity. Don't let AI think AI is going to take all the jobs.
Amazing. Thanks for this advice. Maybe I'll go back to my passion of languages. I think that's a good point to continue my journey.
Okay. So what actual computer skills do you have?
Computer skills. Well, I'm an Excel jockey. I can basically create any kind of business sheet, business plans. I can set up like business plans, media plannings, meaning I can draw up basically marketing campaigns, forecasting, this kind of stuff. Apart from that, not that much. I mean, I have some basic graphics editing.
You don't know coding or anything that.
No, nothing. None of that. I can read some HTML, but that's about it.
Okay. So are you familiar with Unreal Engine number 5?
Yeah, of course.
All right. So if your computer can handle it, download it and begin to learn it. It's something that can be added to your portfolio. And what you can do is it has a giant warehouse of images, sounds, usable data that's licensable. And you may be able to use it to say, all right, here's Joe, an American, speaking to Tin Yan, a Japanese person, and you're going from American to Japanese, and you could develop for yourself a teaching learning program, and it's just something for a portfolio. You also do a minor edit of, let's say, something like a telenovela where it's just people in a modern sense going through terrible dating scenarios. Okay. You could use AI generated humans, but the whole point is to build a portfolio.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
And it's something you do on your free time with your free energies and go, all right, between now and my next jobs, multiple, I know that by working in a aspect that is creative enough for me, and I learned to mix my different stuff in it and add it as a portfolio, you can expand the types of jobs that will be available for you.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Amazing. Yeah, I'll get to that. I think I'll download the Unreal Engine just tomorrow. Thanks.
Well, I got to let you go. I've got another caller that's been waiting, but it's great talking to you.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Bye.
All right, take it easy. All right, Joe, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who's next.
All righty. Let's bring Jordan on. Jordan, how you doing?
Jordan, are you there? Jordan. Ring a ding ding, ring a ding ding, ding a ring ring.
All right, we'll give him a try here in a little bit. Leonard, you're on the air with Andrew Bartzis.
Leonard, are you there? You're muted. Unmute yourself. Still can't hear you.
Any better now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Wow, this is surreal. It's crazy to be chatting with you. I've been a fan of you since about 2018. Yeah, this is just wild. My primary question is about agency. So I've heard you speak about agency over the years, spiritual agency, just esoteric agency, specifically in your book. And it was really conflicting for me to digest it and understand it. And I'm just requesting you elaborate, if you could.
Okay, so that thing is about how we as human selves, with our ancient internal fetus energy, plan infinite potentials. And part of planning infinite potentials, we have to outsource, quote unquote. Outsourcing means we goes to a middleman that says, I require a bad person to be a terrible date for me, so I learned this and this lesson. They reach into the pool of ancestors from past, present, and future and go, here's Jane. She is a terrible, terrible, terrible first person to go on a date with, and she will bring all this negative shit to you if she's gone through XX in her life.
Okay.
And if Joe has gone through XX in his life and they meet up, the agency has then brought you together. The agency takes a credit for reducing karma and gaining karma and meeting people. The two humans get to exchange the karmas that's between them. And then the contract's complete, and the rest is going to be free will of what they learned from that meetup that was planned by the fetus to give infinite potentials, so that a inner group, the agents, the agency, and then your contact in the agency, which is a individual who's part of a collective, will then also be a part of that chain of karma reduction or adding.
That's fascinating, and you know what? That's really something I'm gonna rewatch this, obviously, and reread the particular chapter on agency, because it was so important to me that I was almost embarrassed by how little I was understanding that concept out of everything in the book. And after listening to you for so many years, I had a short, brief dialogue with you on Facebook. This was maybe 2019, maybe or prior to, well before COVID. I was involved with a castle estate, and I did. Oh, thank you. That's excellent.
Yeah.
That means a lot to me. Thank you. That
Not too many
particular.
people come to me with a castle.
So the more I investigated let's say, just the vibration between me and that particular family, I contacted you and had that discussion with you early in that relationship. My lineage is from a county in Ireland called Carrickmore, County Tyrone as well. Now, when I basically became involved with that family, they owned their lineage traced back well beyond my own personal knowledge of my lineage, my heritage. My father still lives in the north of Ireland, so I'm here in Eastern Connecticut. But for the Tyrone house, so it was a building in Northern Ireland that was allegedly storing black and tans. And the purveyor of that particular castle, his lineage apparently perhaps were the absent landlords of the time. And how that all related, is there any history there? Like, why did what occurred between me and that family happen? Can you provide me any insights, or are you getting any impression from me?
So there are times that in the past, a lineage wields a lot of in-the-moment time, political, religious, and emotional power. That area owned emotional power of the time that used liquor that spread around the world, literally, to spread stored emotion. Emotion that could be hoarded, like literally hoarded, and then imprinted into liquors, multiples,
Spirits.
or other concepts.
Okay.
Long before it was an emotional place, it was a magical place. And before that, it was a political place. And before that, it was a political magical place. But each generation has changed the perspective and perception of how the land influences the people, how the people influence the land from generation to generation. As Ireland went through the ups and downs of political and spiritual development, there were only a handful of places that could maintain high power. And then the next generation, that place would become low power, and another city would become high power because Ireland's total capacity to maintain energy had been siphoned away by the stealing of the kingship and titleships. The religious esoteric orders that were there 2000, 4000, 6000 BC, they no longer had potential futures in which they had full control of the destiny of Irish people. Their power was diluted into water versus pure spirits and alcohol. And the portals between other realms were closed down. Ireland was a hub of portals that connected to multiple realms and other planets, including other times and spaces. And if you had the right DNA of a leadership clan, you could travel to other places and grant temporary citizenship to people you brought with you to other places so they could earn trust in another realm. And then when they would gain citizenship to another realm, they could travel back and forth on their own and create their own traveling lineages. Massachusetts, where you are, is Little Ireland. Okay? There were many portals that connected into that entire area long before the settling of white people here. Okay? The Irish people aren't technically Egyptian, and many of the Native Americans in that area, all the way up to the Cree Indians in Canada, are Egyptian and Israelite also.
Mm.
Okay? By DNA frequencies before the great splitting in the first and second and third Exodus. The Bible only tells us of one Exodus. There are actually three Exoduses.
Wow.
Okay? One via underground tunnels, which spread the people away from Egypt. One by sea, which is known as the Sea People, and one by spaceship and astral portals to other worlds.
That's in parallel to this timeline, or
Yeah, this what happened on this timeline. Yes.
fascinating. Okay. All right. I did listen to your it's more than one episode. I believe it's available on Vimeo with Veronica Keane, and I found the information you provided there fascinating. I re-listened to that multiple times. Just stellar. Thank you for that. And I know you did that trip to Ireland with some of your patrons, and I think that's just fabulous. The work you've done and the information you provide is really,
I
really
went to Scotland.
intriguing. And it's no Scotland recently, but there was that trip to Ireland. No,
I didn't take any
this would have
trips
been
to
years
Ireland.
ago. Really?
No. I went to Egypt.
Strange.
Yes.
There were the pyramids. Perhaps that's what I'm thinking of.
Let's just say I broadcast to other timelines.
I sometimes wonder, Andrew, revisiting the content, it seems that I don't know. But memories are a strange thing.
There are a large group of people who thought I began in 2008.
I'll tell you, post-COVID, I was very concerned. There was when her name was Martina, correct?
Yep.
That was fascinating. That was while COVID was unfolding, if memory serves. That was a fascinating chapter of your career for sure.
Actually,
to
it was actually before COVID. The last few shows we did was right when COVID had taken over.
Wow.
They just declared the lockdowns, and we did a handful of shows after that.
Yeah, my relationship with time is incredibly challenged.
So you're a lazy time lord?
And I'm not present for sure. Yeah, definitely. It's become a problem.
You're an absentee time lord.
That's an epitaph for sure. I love that. I've heard about you. Just shifting gears. If you have the time.
Sure. Got plenty of time.
I know that you respect tobacco. How do you feel about the state of the nicotine vapor consumption? Is it safe? Is it counterintuitive to a spiritual experience? Or
So let me pull back the nicotine vape issue.
please, I think about it every day. Sometimes
Have you
hourly.
ever seen a person take a vape hit and then blow out the stick? The smoke is so thick you can't see
course.
their face.
Yeah,
Do you know that hit they took is equivalent to a whole pack of cigarettes?
I do, and that's why I'm bringing this up, because I don't think people understand exactly how much it's far past a lethal dosage of nicotine. What was understood to be
No,
lethal in the past.
it's not lethal. It's not lethal.
Clearly, it's
So
not.
a standard vape vial is 10 packs of cigarettes. So if you're going through a vape vial every 2 days, you're smoking like 10, 20 packs of cigarettes, equivalent of nicotine. Don't believe me? Look it up on the FDA website.
That's why I'm bringing it up. I'm aware of this, and I completely agree.
I tell people this all the time. Then there are those people who do rape. You know what rape is?
I do, through the nose. I haven't
Which is
explored it
even
yet.
worse.
Right.
So
I have considered snuff, though.
Snuff was outlawed even by the corrupt British Empire. Why would the most corrupt British Empire in history outlaw snuff?
Why would they?
Because it was fucking everybody up that bad.
It's popular in Ireland.
Yeah, put it this way. Cocaine, baby raping wizards, lizards, those were all fine. Snuff was
Big
where they drew
problem.
the line at. Okay?
Wow.
If you put it into that context, you'll realize the destructiveness of what nicotine does to the human body when you take it in the extremes.
I have a chronic nicotine addiction, and I'm about to turn 26. I've been on nicotine 10 years.
It's
Started
okay.
smoking pretty
you
early.
know I smoke. You know I
Now,
smoke. I
of
smoke
course.
a significant amount.
I'm now
what-
torn between it. The accessibility of the vapor is increasing how much nicotine's in my body at any given moment, and I'm beginning to become
This
concerned.
is my advice for you. Quit vapor cold turkey and switch to a cigarette that's all natural tobacco
I've
with no
only ever
additives.
smoked American Spirits. Yeah.
Okay? Then
yeah.
get your American Spirits. Get the yellows. Don't get the greens or the other ones.
I like the
those are
dark
double-
greens, Andrew.
But those are
Full
double or
body.
triple the content of nicotine.
Right. They're very strong. Yeah.
Yes.
How about
the
this?
thing is, they
What about
smoke sweet.
Zyn? Or I have patches I got from a doctor, because I've
No,
narrowed it down. I'm
no.
pretty clever. The vape is really messing with my life.
It's harder to beat vape than it is to beat heroin.
I wouldn't know about
serious.
the heroin, but I've
I'm
heard
serious.
the same. I've heard it from
talk to
smackheads,
all the
yeah.
heroin addicts.
Right,
Cigarettes are harder than heroin. Yes.
damn. I put myself in a
Okay.
pickle here.
You have to build the energy up. That's why you have to don't use the patch as a bridge. Just you're going to end up smoking 2 packs a day in the beginning as part of your converting, but you're also going to learn how to go
I never
nobody.
smoke a pack a day.
You're going
Even
to.
with the spirits, you know spirits, they burn wicked long. So I put it out, I return to it. 3 sessions I can get out of a spirit just because they burn so long. But
I'm
it's
aware
the
of that.
accessibility thing where
What's going to end up happening is you're going to take these super long drags where you'll finish an American Spirit in 3 minutes.
Wow. Maybe
Okay?
you're right. Yeah.
Trust me on this. You'll learn to smoke that thing so fucking fast. People are like, "Wow!" Normally, that just last forever and ever and ever.
So no
That
full
is-
bodied. I can't do the dark green.
No,
Can I do the light green with the menthol?
no,
Damn.
no.
Yellow or
no.
orange, they suck. Those are the 2 colors I would never buy.
Just the yellows.
All
Now,
right.
there's a reason I'm telling you to do the yellows, because there's double the amount that are in the other ones, and it's actually enough in a pack to wean yourself off of high volumes
Mhm.
until you get yourself to a lower volume where you're smoking between a half a pack to 2 packs a day.
I've never been a pack of smoker in my life, but
Actually,
these-
you are right now on the vape. You're a 10 pack. Okay?
I don't
Every time
doubt
you
it.
have to replace it, it's 10 packs.
It's a trade-off. I appreciate this. This is the dialogue I've wanted to have with you for years. So this is excellent. Thank you. I hope
Now,
other
there's more.
folks can
There's more.
get some info.
You
in
know
this
that
too.
there's more. You know that the vast majority of vape is unregulated of what stabilizes the stuff inside it, and that
Salt's
you're having
popular.
what's called black lung going on, not from the nicotine, from all the garbage, untested material that they put in as stabilizers.
Coils, heavy metals. I've considered all
Acetone.
this.
acetone.
Sure. Propylene is
Yeah.
uncomfortable to ingest
Yep.
in the lungs, right? Yeah.
Okay. So it's called black lung, literally. Like they shit people get out of coal mining.
I mean, they don't hide it. They're suspending the nicotine and salt, right? I imagine.
Phosphates, salts, all sorts of stuff.
I didn't expect it to be catching up with me so quickly, and it is. So
It's because the volume in which you're smoking.
right, blood pressure, the whole bit, mixed with the caffeine in a normal day. And again, I'm only about to turn 26, and I'm feeling it hard, badly. So
a couple of weeks ago, I did a session with a young lady who smokes cigarettes, does rapé 4 to 5 times a day.
Wow.
And when I told her this exact same stuff, she had a breakdown and says, "I'll never be able to quit." And I go, "You'll be dead in a couple of years if you don't quit."
With
4 to 5 rapés a day.
With rapé aside, I mean, strenuous activity in my body. I believe you.
one session of rapé is 20 packs of cigarettes and nicotine.
Wow.
Okay? If you're smoking American Spirit Yellows.
That's surreal to me. I've never experienced rapé myself. It looks painful. If we're talking about the same thing, that's the device where it goes in the nose.
Yes, it blows into the nose. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
People don't believe me? Look up at the FDA website. Look at all the websites that are out there that are independently, scientifically done. I'm only reading it off of them.
I haven't looked at it in memory. I checked the CDC. This was years ago, and the nicotine levels they were saying were fatal, I was far exceeding, like 25, 30 times over. Yeah.
And they never regulated the vape industry to be at exceeding levels because they've already known since the 1950s those toxic levels are much higher. Like if you were ever to find a cigarette pack that was fresh from the 1950s, it would have 20 times the amount of nicotine per cigarette than they have today.
Wow.
Okay.
So what changed? The additives? I don't understand.
Not just the additives, but the conscious monetary buyer of how they get cancer in 5 years versus 20 years. Because that's what came out of the cancer lawsuits. They were producing cigarettes that could get you cancer in 5 years of smoking a pack a day versus smoking a pack a day over 20 years.
That's surreal.
Okay?
It's surreal. Wow. All right. I'm going to make a commitment. You're a figure in my life, believe it or not. I know this is the first time we spoke in voice to voice, but I'm going to cut it. This is it. I'll mark the date. My birthday's the 30th of this month, and I think it's time to retire it. Maybe to replace the ritual or just the habitual relationship I have with it, I could do like a CBD liquid, or you think that's counterintuitive?
You need the oral fixation.
No kidding.
Okay. So here are a handful of suggestions. Switch to a cigarette that's much lower. Force yourself to go with the lower amounts. Go get one of those fidgety finger thingies.
Sure.
Okay. Go get a handful of those that'll occupy you for nervous energy.
Okay.
Try not to use gum. Try not to use patches. It actually will make it harder for you to quit.
I wholeheartedly believe that because that's been my experience.
And then accept you're going to put on weight.
Yeah, no, you poured a layer of concrete here because it's one thing. I'm challenging myself alone here, but this is definitely fortified.
Accept
my
you're going to
intention.
put on weight and have an alternative exercising system that can balance the amount of weight that you're going to put on.
Okay. Excellent.
Now, short of the little finger fidgety things, the finger skateboards, what you're going to discover as you go through the detoxification and the body ultra desires, you have to turn your brain on, you have to get creativity, and you have to ride the waves of your body screaming at you, tobacco.
Right.
CBD will do absolutely nothing unless you're a regular smoker of cannabis.
I am.
That's something else that's out there that most people don't know. If you don't regularly use cannabis, CBDs, you absorb absolutely nothing from it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's a big, giant secret they don't want anybody wants you to know. That's why it's 20-1 rated, 50-1 rated.
I don't smoke as much
20-1
as I
rated.
used to. The weed's so strong. Like great weed. I mean, I think mids are extinct at this point. In my area, anyways, it's impossible. The THC content is so high. So
Is it
maybe
legal?
I could dilute. It is, yes. Maybe I could dilute
No, it's very simple. Go and buy
with
the shit for
tobacco.
cancer. No, go and buy the shit for cancer people. It's
Okay.
a Charlotte Web strain. It's generally between 9 and 11%. Between 9 and 11% THC and 19 to 29% CBD.
That sounds amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. The
You
last
might
thing I
get
bought was
14.
29%
You might get
THC.
14. Yeah, but you might get 14% THC and 21% CBD. As long as the CBD is higher than the THC, that is the stuff you switch and smoke to.
Okay. Fabulous. Thank
Yeah.
you so very much. This has been such a help, and I'll be sure to re-listen to this.
Okay. The
I
next thing
think
is
you already know. This is incredible info. Thank you.
don't smoke joints. Switch to a pipe.
Damn.
Get a little one hitter, and I mean a little tiny one hitter.
Okay.
Okay? Whether it's glass or wood, it's enough to put out there, and you can puff it up twice unless it's super dense. Stick to the one hitter or switch to a pipe that has a smaller bowl size but wider volume to bring in smoke. Okay.
Maybe I was thinking I have it bookmarked. I was even going to make the purchase yesterday. This is such a synchronicity for me. So the flight box, so a vaporizer, and then you have the remnants. You can roll that into a joint. Vaporizing the marijuana, is that cool?
So here's my thing. Vaporizers are sneakily to get you addicted to higher volumes faster.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vaporizers are for the vegetarians who won't eat meat when it comes to weed smoking.
That's how they market
But
it too.
secretly, you are taking on far more THC from the vaporizer than you are from regular smoking.
Wow.
Okay.
Might be somebody's goal.
Right, sure, it might be somebody's. But if you're trying to control yourself, my recommendation is always start with 9 grams a month. That means you every month you have to have 4 to 5 to 6 days of sobriety. Okay? Can you stretch out that 9 grams to be a day? Yes, you can.
That's very
the
relatable to my current regimen. No, absolutely. Absolutely. This has been fabulous. Thank you so much. My very, very final thing that I have noted here is related to the heart meditation. It's helped me tremendously over the years I've been doing it. I'm pretty dedicated to it. This year in particular, I've added a dimension. I was raised half Irish Catholic, half pagan. Introducing the part where I overlay my face. Sometimes in the latter weeks here, I've been replacing it with Jesus. I'm trying to integrate Jesus. I don't know why, but is there a conflict there? Should I create a separate meditation for this?
No. Okay. So what is your relationship to Jesus? And if you can give that a visual complexity journey, meaning there's you and there's Jesus, what is the difference between you and Jesus in your philosophy?
As individuals?
As individuals and a collective growth of religion.
Oh, well, those two things, those are two different books to read for sure. I would never compare myself to Jesus on an individual level.
No, you're not. He's a God and Savior of that religion, but he's also here to help people go through the experience, to gain freedom. You have to create the philosophy so that when you add Jesus over the fetus in the womb, he's your guide to the light.
Yeah.
Etc. But you have to create the philosophy of why you would add it there and make that philosophy real to you.
Excellent.
Your personal relation.
Catholics have a different. Because I don't celebrate Catholicism. I don't practice it, and nor Christianity. But my relationship with Jesus, esoterically, and in my beliefs, and in my thoughts, and where I take myself, my mind, and my heart, he is present for sure. I don't know why. If it's symbolic of something different.
You could do Buddha, and you could do Shiva, and you could do a variety of gods throughout the world.
Sure.
That just may be your starting point. That God is God.
Lovely. Very well.
And if there's many gods, but they have a similar energy behind them, which is oneness. We're all related into a frequency.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you have one moment, I wanted to just. Is it clear? Am I good? All right.
Good.
Falun Gong, particularly the Zhuan Falun by Li Hongzhi. Are you familiar with this text?
Yes.
2001, I believe it was published. I read it, and it's page 69. He talks about the blossoming of the celestial eye. And when I read that for the first time, and I attained that book, it was given to me at the cast, believe it or not. I did feel, and I don't believe it was psychosomatic because it was so simultaneous, or it happened simultaneously as I was reading it. It did feel like there was a movement or a sensation in my cranium that I have never experienced and haven't since. What's the deal with that? What the hell is Li Hongzhi all about? And are his teachings trustworthy or beneficial? Because that particular book is potent.
I'm quite aware of it. I'm trying to
That's
give
a
you
banger.
my answer without.
I do the exercises, the wheel. I do the exercises, and I enjoy them. But it's a labor of love for sure, and I say labor with emphasis.
All right, so let me give you this answer in the best way I can do it. Every
Please.
modern religion out there tries to get as close as possible. And in my view, it's the Buddhists who got the closest, but they were still only 65% there. Falun Gong is the next attempt to get to 75%.
Yeah.
And the next after that might try to get 80, but anything after 80 is such a rapid change in the concept of what God is, was, and ever will be, that no published religion is going to get beyond that. And Falun Gong simply just represents the evolution of philosophical, technical, and mechanical religion in a book through practice.
That was my attraction to it. Everything I couldn't have put it more poignantly. That is my attraction to it. When I read it, I said, it just felt contemporary. Although at that time it was already 15 years old or more. I was reading, this is how religion evolves. This is how faith movements are blossomed, are born. That was just my first impression when I completed the book.
Again, it's all that is allowed out. Anything beyond the 70, like I said, 75%, meaning people will have natural grand awakenings to the potential of religions and walk away from all the other ones because the answers are obvious.
Okay.
They become so blatantly obvious, people like me become commonplace. And I wait that day. I
don't know
hate
if I'd
doing this shit
enjoy
on
that,
my
Andrew.
own.
I know you're too humble.
Everybody can do what I can do. Everybody can do what I can do it better.
Oh, I don't think everybody would make me laugh so much. So you know what? That's spectacular.
I'm a comedian, though. I enjoy doing it.
Monty follows me on Twitter, and when that day came, I said, "Oh man, this is just great. He's so cool. You guys, those comedy shows really great.
Ever made you spit a drink out?
Spit takes have come pretty close. I've come pretty close." Well, this was just fabulous. This was excellent. Thank you very much for this. I value your time more than you know, so I do appreciate this, and hopefully this isn't the last time we speak.
Caller.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot, brother. Take it easy.
See ya.
All right, Joel, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
All right, we're going to give Jordan another shot here. Jordan, are you with us?
You got to unmute, Jordan.
Howdy, y'all. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Where are you calling from today?
I'm maybe a little local to you. I'm 330 Northeast Ohio.
Welcome to the show. What do you want to talk about?
Actually, a lot of topics have already been hit on tonight, but let's go with something local. I actually spend a lot of my time, have since around the age of 19, at a local music festival campground area, NLQP, Nelson Ledges Quarry Park. And
been there many times.
Yourself has been? Wow.
Oh, yeah. I've been there many, many times.
I'm sorry, I've never
may have even been there last year.
Incredible. I was just wondering, can we have a little bit of the history of the land itself?
All right. So what people don't understand is there's a state park, and next to that state park is a privately owned property that was started by some Hells Angels biker clubs in the 70s that had an allowance for hallucinogenic drugs and the bringing of bands from around the country. which then developed into a place where bands would go and people would go to do varieties of hallucinogenics while listening to amazing music. Right next to it is a state park that's got a giant crack in the ground. And when I mean giant crack in the ground, I mean a massive, massive, giant crack in the ground that goes deep and spits out some of the coldest fucking air you have ever felt. Now, you went back to ancient history. This was known as the crack in the ground place. The spirits, whether positive or negative, but it also put out a gas at times that would make people hallucinate. Okay, I also was a highly magnetic zone where birds would suddenly fly to the area for no reasons. It would attract all sorts of things. Okay. If you've never looked it up, go look up Nelson Ledges State Park, and you can see what I mean by giant crack in the ground. Okay. All sorts of spiritual, religious concepts in the Native American communities were done around that giant crack in the ground, and other cracks in the ground that are all throughout that area. There are actually several mounds, Native American high-level energy, high mound buildings that are in that area that are unknown about. And some that are known about too. These are not burial grounds. These are actually mounds that formed cities that were half a kilometer to 2 kilometers wide. In fact, in that area, there are about 24 minor settlements within 20 miles of that space. And it's one of the reasons so many Amish people live in that area. Many of the Amish people were Native American spirits reborn into Amish, who then went through the journey to be there to take over the lands and be stewards of the land. Now, the hallucinogenic energy. I've had many weird experiences on that property, both good and bad, but I've also seen amazing spirits of love come through there.
Yes.
Okay?
Remarkably.
So much amazing spirits of love. There were times that I would just sit back in the crowd, meld into nothingness, and watch spirit work its magic.
Same.
Unlike any other festival I've ever been to before.
Right. Same.
Okay? Yeah. It's not a cave. Somebody in the question is Cat's asking. It's not a cave. It's a crack in the ground. Joel, can you find a picture of Nelson Ledges State Park, Ohio, and put it up on the screen? We're getting some kind of feedback here. I'm not sure where it's coming from. Okay. So the park itself, again, it's a state park, but I don't know how to describe it. The spirits of love that go through there. And then there's the war that is fought over that property every festival.
You feel that.
And when I mean war fought over that property. Seen and unseen world.
I've worked there for 5 years, and I can, wow, just wow. I'm also interested in the water itself, though. I know that the water itself is very clean, spring-fed, filtered through sandstone, limestone, and quartz. And it's currently rated as one of the cleanest bodies of water in all of Ohio. We have a natural little jellyfish that's actually particularly only in that area.
So let's just find the crack in the big giant crack. Hold on, let me find a figure. Just 1 second. Trying to get better pictures of the crack on the ground.
Well, I appreciate your efforts.
All right, so I can't find any right now. I mean, can you describe the crack in the ground to people?
Okay, it's a very unique piece of property that stretches along a road length, probably almost about, in my opinion, 1-2 city blocks long, and there's multiple trails and a hard, a medium, more difficult one throughout the park. And some destinations there stretch from one end to the other. It's kind of linear almost. And at one end, there's a nice little waterfall. Down somewhere in the middle of this park is the actual, what they call the Devil's Ice Box. That's the coldest part. It's always around the chilly time of year. And then there's a lot of formations and collapsed rock laying on top of itself, big boulders and stuff. They all claim it's glacial deposits and whatnot, ancient glacial deposits still from back then. But there's so many crevices to crawl in through and somewhat almost get stuck in.
Right.
One commonly referred to as Fat Man's Peril.
Okay. All right. Then next to the state park is the private park.
Yep.
That was a quarry in the 1950s and early 60s, a deep quarry that they let fill in with water when they were done quarrying limestone there. And that is why the water is so pure. It's filtered through limestone. Now, the water table there is, I think, 475 feet. So there's not a lot of room between the rest of the area where it's a 1,600-foot well deep. Well, you have to dig to get water there. So you have a very high amount of pressure filtering that water very fast. That's why it's so clean.
It's just such an energetic portal to me. It's changed my
Oh, it
life.
is.
I found the place by accident when I was 19. A radio ad for one of their first ever Pink Floyd weekends with free camping came across the radio and drew me in, and I've never left.
I think my first time going there was Fish, or I don't remember. I think it was Fish.
Probably.
Or Acoustica.
Most likely Acoustica back in the day.
Yeah, I think it was Acoustica, yeah.
They just played recently for the first time in almost a decade.
Oh, they haven't been together playing? I didn't realize that.
Drama and trauma between the family, business relationships, and things. And then now things are seemingly in an uptake. Things are healing. The owner himself has gotten himself really cleaned up and is even throwing what I would say AA meetings seasonally and doing a lot of self-cleaning and seriously, the whole scene is coming back to life. It's feeling better today than it has in 10 years. And I helped clean that up. In 2016, a friend of mine, a vendor and resident of the park seasonally, started a program known as the Trash Warriors. And it was just a game system to get people mindful and pick up micro trash on the beach and whatnot. It was hit. Years of us partying there, it's hit. It evolved straight into a recycling program, and I managed volunteers and actually cleaning the waste of all the festival goers, and the physical and psychic crap that came through my stations. But it's a very unique scene, a very unique community, and I'm blessed to have found it in a sense. I just don't quite understand it and or my role in it. But a lot of healing is hopefully coming our way.
It's going to require non-esoteric people doing esoteric healing, like AA. Take the religion out of AA, it's still a healing journey.
Right.
That has to deal with the darkness. And that property has enough darkness imprinted and light imprinted on it that those types of healing spirits will come together, both light and dark, to go through the journey of releasing of karmic debts. And that's what that place generally does. Every time it brings in a festival, there's the past train of energy of every festival, all of those bands that are brought to, that brings over the creative turnover energy. And that is what that park feeds on. And the spirits and the fairies of that area. Like I remember 2004, 2005, I don't remember exactly. It was literally the time where everyone was doing the beginning of the hula hoop dancing.
Yeah, 2006 era. That was my first year. So right around same.
Yeah, well, I think it actually started in 2004, the very beginning of hula hoops coming to that area, where every girl had a hula hoop, whether it was on fire or not, didn't matter. You know?
Yes.
And there is when I saw how the fairy spirits came alive because the hula hoop was brought there as an offering to the people.
I've actually witnessed them
Yeah.
in the midst of the water early in the morning in the first sunlights. Yes.
Yeah, I used to love going down to the water and putting the flashlight over the fog and watch the bats fly through it.
It's a must.
Yeah, it's a must. It's its own perfect show.
Oh, it is nature itself, and then the whole just cosmic market scene. I don't even know. It's a bizarre of some sorts. It's nothing but pure potential on some level.
Yep.
It's wild.
Interesting. You're at the Nelson Ledges Park. I've had a lot of experiences there.
And it's dear to my heart, and I'm not even sure why. I've heard you talk a lot about the day the music died and the connection to the music, and I'm just wondering what's along those lines does even the Grateful Dead play in any of this? The park owner himself has shaken hands with many of the still surviving members of the Grateful Dead, and he himself.
So my first vision of the day the music died was I was at Nelson Ledges State Park, 98, 99, somewhere in that era. And it evolved until I had a grander understanding it wasn't one timeline, because there were people who were alive then that were dead later on, and then people who had died a long time ago but were alive. And it took me a very long time to understand it was a timeline in which all of these people survived and all simultaneously did disclosure to 27 million and a half people simultaneously. And the system of control couldn't stop it because it was a live show not being broadcast to the whole world, individual groups of people. That was my first understanding of it. And that's when the land spoke to me and showed me its unique potentials of time. And I'm sure you've seen the dance area where people fade away. And like they're like the ebb and flow to the dance area, to the listening music area.
Yeah,
At night when it's done, the bands are done and everyone's gone, you can still see people dancing.
Oh yes.
Okay?
Yes.
You could go in the middle of the day and people are just there swimming and you will still see people dancing. It never ends. The fabric of the veil of the fabric there is so thin. If you are sensitive enough and controlled enough, you can step into those other realities and hear the music in your heart.
I'm a natural, and I'm lucky I found someone such as you to help explain some of these things. I'm still filtering out what I am and what I can do, but this is very congruent with everything I've ever experienced, and it is that level of high energy, good and bad, like you say.
It's because that crack in the ground, 100 to 1,000 to 2,000 years ago, people would go to have visionary states. And it was let's just say, where many spiritual communities, seen and unseen, had consulate houses, ambassador houses there for the variety of people that would come from as far away as northern Canada and as far south as Mexico City, would travel to there.
I know
it was all accessible by river.
In the 20s and 30s, it was also a honeymoon destination. There was a hotel, or I believe a hotel, and a Ferris wheel, and people would come from all over.
Yep. And there's a whole other history from the 1800s there that's not well known.
Very much so.
Not well known.
Very heady stuff, especially for a local boy like me.
So I want to add this. In a general season, would you say between 700 and 1,500 individual vendors will come there?
There's the permanent ones, and then there's the ones who flow in and out with each festival. And I know they have a capacity of probably about 30 to 40 vendors at a time, I believe. Yeah, I mean, there is a good traveling group and then a home group too.
Right. So we'll say between 700 and 1,200 individual vendors in a season. Each vendor who makes every penny has a spiritual purpose to be there. Think of how many crystals have been sold on that property.
Yes.
Okay? It is a hub of energetic exchange beyond the unseen world. There is a physical exchange place there because that place was a place where traders from all over the world would bring their wares there.
I do get a sense of like a cosmic flea market, a hippie flea market at that.
Let's replace it with antiques radio.
Very much so. What we have, our version of it, is so festival-esque. It's
right.
Beyond words.
So, in my view, if that place wants to make a turnaround, they should invest in a year-round traditional healing facility like flotation tanks. They would invest into like 3 or 4 float pods or float tanks. It gives them year-round money and allows them to begin the journey of transmuting some of that negative energy into year-round positive flow. And the communities that flow around flotation tanks they're huge. Like AA highly recommends float tanks as a replacement for going to the bar when you're stressed out. Okay? And there are groups of AA people all over the world that sponsor 8, 10, 12, and 24-hour floats.
Wow, yes.
Okay? I've also known a person that did a 60-hour float.
Incredible.
Okay? And these are worldwide. Many organizations in the recovery industry have realized that the float can regain the dark, lost consciousness of blackness. You can heal that wound.
There it is.
Okay?
Very necessary.
Okay? That would be a great way for that place to begin to make an addition beyond a turnaround. Because turnaround is one thing.
Yes.
The festivals are going to be the festivals, and the police are going to be the police, and all the things that go there to keep it covered up versus uncovered. That's going to go on. But maintaining a next part of it, float place, and then having a year-round way for people to come in, adding cabins to the property so people can go there for a weekends or floats. You know, if they really had the money to invest into it, get something like 10 individual float tank rooms, and then begin what's called Watsu-based healing in there with a water form of cranial sacral therapy, which is deep spiritual unwinding. The level of healing that can be done in that is crazy.
I can only imagine, yes, such a location.
Yep.
If ever I get a chance to bring that idea up, I'll be sure to throw that in the ring.
Yeah, but people have to know what it is to make an impact on them. So you got to educate them.
That's what I do, especially to newcomers to the park. I just tell them of my experience of it being just pure potential, and it's a lot. To me, the woods will show you what's in your heart or other people's hearts if you pay attention, good and bad.
Oh yeah.
To me, working there, I got to live there for 2020. I spent my whole COVID there, and I could not stay there full time. I had to at least twice a month get out, go to a motel or a hotel with a jacuzzi tub and decompress. It literally drives you insane, and then some.
There's only so much woods energy even a urban city boy can handle.
Sure.
Okay.
It was all just the woods either. It's a lot of the
party energy, all of the other stuff. Yes. There is a pressure that you feel on being on that property. Okay. There is very much a pressure. All right, brother, I got to let you go. I got another caller. It was great talking to you about it. I brought up a lot of park memories that I've had there over the years.
I'm chicken, but I'll be seeing you. Thank you very much.
All right, brother. Take it easy. Have a great day. All right, Joel, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who's next. Wow, that brings up a lot of memories. Irony. All right, see who's next, Joel.
Alrighty, let's bring Galactic Bard on.
Galactic Bard, are you there?
Hi, I'm here.
Hi, where are you calling from?
Oh, we're on the beautiful waters of where is this? Urbana Creek. We're in Virginia, right off the Rappahannock, right off the Chesapeake, right off the Atlantic, right off the waters that collect the world.
Welcome to the show. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, I wrote a song for you a little while ago, and I've been dying to share it with you. So I would be happy to do that if you would be.
Sure.
Okay, here's the song that I wrote for you, you beautiful bastard. Oh, he's fat and jolly with a great big beard. Got a twinkle in his eye, and he's kind of weird. He talks about stuff that grown-ups don't understand. He's Galactic Santa, he's a magical man. He's Galactic Santa, he's a magical man. Galactic Santa, Galactic Santa, please come by today. He flies through the multiverse sharing his gifts, but it doesn't have reindeer or a sleigh. Just a whole bunch of friends who love to play. Just a whole bunch of friends who love to play. People often wonder about Santa's plight, how to visit all those children in just one night. But even 1 second would be enough. He's a time-traveling wizard and he knows his stuff. He knows his stuff. Oh, Galactic Santa, Galactic Santa, please come by today. He flies through the multiverse sharing his gifts, but he doesn't have reindeer or a sleigh. Just a whole bunch of friends who love to play. Just a whole bunch of friends who love to play. He says there are many me's and I'm just one. Well, I sure hope the other me's like to have fun. If you listen to your heart, then you know what's true. Maybe I can be Galactic Santa too. I'm Galactic Santa, I'm Galactic Santa. I'll come right by today. We fly through the multiverse sharing our gifts, but we don't have reindeer or a sleigh. Just a whole bunch of friends who love to play. We're a whole bunch of friends who love to play.
Wonderful. Oh, that's awesome. Galactic Santa.
Galactic Santa. Oh my God. I had to find a way to like move all of the energy. I've been navigating in your space with all the information that you've just like pumped into the multiverse, this like infinite galactic library that you have. I've been like swimming through it and I was like, oh my God, I gotta put together a beautiful gift for this bastard. I gotta and throw some joy at him, throw some silly at him, throw some delight at him. Cause I was like, how do you describe what this beautiful man does? Like there's something for you. Galactic Santa.
How long have you been listening to for?
Oh, bro, time. Okay. I think I started diving deep in when I came back from Hawaii, when I was on the lands of near the Carlisle Indian School. Would have been 2021, I believe, was when I started. And yeah, that was about when it is. I started finding these old shows, and I don't know, the way that I always went with your content, it's so quantum. I would go on these drives and then I would just be listening and it would be jumping around and you know, just like whatever we needed would be coming right up. And so it's just such a delight to navigate through that space. You know. But I just finished your book recently. That was a part of the most recent reset and collapse and all that.
What do you think of the book?
Oh, brother, it was so beautiful. It was so it's one of the things that I really enjoy is no one else has articulated a cosmology that's as resonant with my experience as you. So it's really delightful to have phrases like self-nurturing, self-healing, self-mastery, to have phrases like equal co-creation, non-competition, non-hierarchical order. Like the way that you structure these words is so delightful, because I was like, oh yeah, that's what I'm doing, because I'm kind of been doing it from the dirt up in a lot of ways, and now the water up, as perhaps you can see. So yeah, it was, and so densely packed that it took a very long time to read it, and then I had to read it while on like a completely dedicated pilgrimage that I took, and that was like a part of my my lesson plan, you could say. It was that, and like I think one other book that made the cut for that that little thing. But yeah, it was very powerful, and that's also why I was like, I called myself Galactic Bard as well. I was like, well, it's like historian has a certain vibe to it, and the amount of information that you move is just immense, and it's beautiful, and it's like, and I love that too, and I also love taking that immense information and dense information and playing around with it a little bit. So I thought I would start
cool.
with, yeah.
Everybody needs their guitar guy and MC, man.
Exactly, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like a Galactic Bard, like you got to have a bard. Like a party without you could do it, but you want a bard at your party.
So tell me about your spiritual journey.
Well, I like the point that I'm at right now is even that question seems a little silly to even differentiate, you know, like this is what we're doing. We're here and we're living, and it's beautiful, and it's a gift. It's like the story of how I got here is a story, and it can be told like 1,000 different ways. I can say where I am and like where I am right now, because that's like, I think in some ways the culmination of what we could say my spiritual journey is. And that's, I'm on a boat that I just recently acquired, a little 27-foot sailboat, a little Cape Dory with like the capability to go all around the world. I've just moved onto her. I've been cleaning myself out. So, okay, I got something for a spiritual journey. I have been letting go of nonsense and garbage in my mind, in my body, and just letting stuff go, for a while. I mean, that's like a big part of what the journey is. And the technology that you articulate of connecting with your other selves, we could say, your interdimensional selves, and doing that work in relation with them, and then setting the parameters of how you're going to operate. And one of the ways that I like to put it is, again, this is like working with your cosmology. It's like being the one who is living in such a way that the other yous are paying attention, that you're living in such a badass, awesome, beautiful, interesting, adventurous, courageous way that the gods are paying attention, that you've got like a big old flag in the Akashic records, and all of the other yous are like, that fucker, that us, that me.
Yeah, we're the TV show. We're the TV show they turn into every season.
Exactly. So the realization of that, like, that's what we could say is my spiritual journey, which is just we're the TV station that we're tuning into.
So,
and then
I want to add a layer to that. So we're the TV show everyone turns into every season. We are also the one that has the paid advertisements for our other selves to make change.
That's the invitation. I like that, bro. Yeah, that's the invitation. It's like, well, and that's that's why forgiveness and grace. My boat's called Gracie, bro. So like, that's why grace is such a part of it, and forgiveness is such a part of it, because like anything that you don't forgive, that you don't allow yourself to love, that's just a you that you're just like saying like, fuck you. You know what I mean? And so then there's just like a part of you that you're rejecting in whatever context, in whatever universe, in whatever multiverse. So the expansion of forgiveness, the expansion of grace, the expansion of love, that just like keeps happening. You just like let go. All we're letting go of is these like little things that are like, that sucks, that's the worst. And it's like, oh, well, even the things that suck and are the worst are a part of this incredible experience. So it's just so epic. I love that. You know.
So you got a boat. You've gone through a journey of letting go. What are your plans to do now that you've got the boat?
Well, we're just taking the adventure as it comes. We really are. I mean, there's a lot. Yeah, I mean, we know what we're doing next, which is leaving this creek that this boat hasn't done for 10 years. And then we're going to go south. And I mean, I think the intention is to really provide the space to fully create my reality bubble, our reality bubble, my reality bubble in such a way that give it like a purity that will allow just allow the adventure to continue to unfold in a lot of ways.
Right.
Galactic
So
Bard.
let me add you a few layers of perception for you.
Yep.
So how big are the sails?
I mean, it's a 27-footer. So I don't have all of the details right now. I literally just got on her. I mean, I can look it up, but
so it's basically two sails and a side piece you could add.
Yeah. I can get it got my main here. Let me give you, I don't know if you can see, it's getting dark. Yeah, you probably can't see. It's a small 27-footer with one mainsail. This is the boom right here, and then we've got the jib sail in the front. So two. It's a masthead sloop and it's got a full keel, full weighted keel underneath. So it's like a pocket cruiser, they call it.
So it has technically two sails and a third one you could add if you're cutting in the water. So I get what it is.
Only two.
But you could technically still add a third one. You just have to be a master boatsman to do it.
Sure.
It allows you what's called cutting the waves sideways.
That's what they call
doing
cutting.
a zigzag. Yeah, cutting.
Yeah.
Right. Does it have a motor too? What kind of motor?
I'm going to get rid of the motors, put an electric motor on, and then build a ULO, which is like a sculling oar. Because I just don't want to deal with...
why an electric motor?
I don't want to deal with internal combustion. It's just not something I'm interested in. So there's an electric one that runs off the battery, and then I'm going to build a ULO, and then that'll be more than adequate for me. Right now it has two motors. I'm going to get rid of both.
And what are the motors?
There's a diesel that's built in, and then I got an outboard that's gas. But I just don't want diesel or gas on my boat, and I want the space where the diesel is, and I want to do it as simple as possible.
That's fine. I will tell you to leave one of the motors. It's a backup safety. Always worth it. Always worth it, especially when you got to learn to park. Okay.
I lost you, bro.
All right. Can you hear me now?
I lost you.
I'm still here. No, I'm here. Joel, can you hear me here? Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you, Andrew. I can hear both of you, but his screen's frozen. You might want to turn video off, see if that clears up.
Bard, if you could hear me, turn off your video. He's gone. He's gone. Let's see if he pops back in here in a minute, and then we'll go back to him. Bet you his phone died. Right as he talking about electricity. I'm gonna tell him you're gonna still want a small generator to generate power, and you're still gonna need some kind of fuel. All right. Let's see if he comes back. Do we got another caller waiting?
Yeah, we've got some people waiting. Let's bring Nathan on. Nathan, you're on the air.
Nathan, are you there?
Oh, hello.
Hi, where are you calling from?
I'm from Anglesey.
Anglesey, welcome to the show. What do you want to talk about today?
I'm not sure, really. I was just drawn to click the link, so I don't know if you've got anything for me that maybe I'm missing or needing to do in myself.
Well, tell me a little bit about yourself so I can tune in.
So you've worked with me many a times. I'm the I, you, me, you.
I know who you are.
And on that journey, I feel a lot of them have been a lot at peace lately. And almost I feel like there's the feeling of that integration, and I'm feeling more in my body than I think I've ever been, which is a beautiful feeling. I'm loving that experience. I think it's like sometimes I'm still struggling to have this head-heart connection. There's still bits where I know the heart is all there.
That's just part of being a human evolving in time.
Yeah.
Okay. Every day, the challenge of connecting to the heart is it's called being human. That's the struggle and wonders of being human, as learning the infinite amount of ways to be connected or disconnected from heart, which is spirit connection and spirit disconnection. You just got to learn more techniques and more creative ways to reconnect yourself to your heart.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then be willing to go through the checklist. All right, this one didn't work today. Try the next one and the next one. Eventually, you'll get the click and the turn on. And then it might work for 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then you got the next one. But then you have all the ones in the past that have worked before. It's a matter of what's the chemistry going on inside you, and is you and the chemistry you're in ready for higher amounts of self-love?
So, yeah. Okay. No, thank you.
Are you working now?
Yeah. No, I'm still doing my work, which is a So I've got a nice balance with working with a few clients and then focusing on myself and doing my kind of thing.
Okay. Do you think you want to expand that work or add something else to your repertoire of doing things?
I do. That's where I'm sometimes a little bit not sure what to do. I mean, I have got like I'm doing a teaching opportunity next month in Belgium, which will be my first time. So things are starting to move. I understand why you're saying that, because I feel like there's something I should be, but I'm not sure what it is that I should be getting my teeth into.
Well, the thing is, it's got to be something you do for yourself first that you eventually evolve into a public skill.
Yeah.
And what is it to do for yourself when no one else is around that you do just for yourself that might have the potential to be added into your business?
Okay. So I do. Well, I suppose I spend a lot of time, like, I love cooking and baking. Kind of live up to my surname being Baker. But yeah, I would love to incorporate something to do with food. I think that would be kind of a nice dream to almost, I don't know, kind of work with that sacred energy and that prayer energy and create like a healing kind of course meal. I don't know if that sounds a bit
easy. The technology that exists there, it's easy. You can do it with just a cell phone. Okay.
Yeah.
It's very easy. It's just a matter of getting your recipe together and knowing what you're cooking. And the rest is how does your personality connect to others?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So you can easily make those videos. And I've been encouraging my team in the background to make cooking videos for a while, but they're all a bunch of chicken shits. And if they're all listening, you're a bunch of chicken shits. Okay. Okay. I'm doing 4 shows a week, 8 hours of live material every damn week. And they are barely doing 2 or 1.
Okay. Yeah.
You can easily do that. You could easily incorporate it into the grander you. It's already a passion. And when you get into, let's say some of your more favorite dishes, there's so many little esoteric things that you could add on to it of how do you use that prayer process, over the slicing, the chopping, etc. And then you culminate all those prayers into it going into the pan, and all those prayers culminated going onto the plate.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, that feels exciting.
Okay. Also learning different forms of brewing. That's not just beer, alcohol, and wine. There are all sorts of tea and other flavor brews that you can cook with, like kefir, any of those pickled drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. All sorts of things that you can experiment with that have a whole other aging journey to them.
Yeah.
It all has a life force into it. Okay.
Yeah. That's really interesting you're saying that, because I literally came across a recipe that I want to do this weekend. Is make my own ginger beer.
Beautiful.
And let that brew for I think yeah, it talks about within like 2 weeks.
Yep. And then malt drinks also. Malted drinks too.
Yeah.
I know in the UK, malted drinks are more popular. Hardly anyone has them here, but in the UK and the Caribbean and the rest of the world, malted drinks are everywhere, and I love them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
So malted drinks, ginger beers, those all have a powerful life force energy that can be used for positive spiritual growth, healing, and wellness, mental, physical, and spiritual wellness.
Okay. Yeah. And then I could also do that as an offering to the ancestors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
What are you doing for fun now? Don't tell me spiritual shit either.
That's the one I know I need to work on.
Why is it so hard for you to work on fun?
Because I think I'm still on that stage of feeling who to trust. I know trust comes into the factor of like.
Mm-hmm. Have you become so serious with the other side of the work that the stereo stick is now a stump?
I think, it's not.
Yeah, you no longer have a stick up the ass; you have a stump up the ass.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to get well so bad, and you put so much extra effort into it, and then you got it, and all you got to do now is adjust it so it's not a stump. Everything you got to take the piss out of shit every now and then.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. No, I am definitely getting better on that. I think it's actually finding that. I think it's more like that hermit energy where I'm now trying to actually feel that trust to go out and have fun, because I can find fun definitely here on my own at home, through different things of I love like reading and even sometimes being creative.
Those aren't giving you the same return on investment that they've done before. If you invest X amount of energy in your old ways, it would always give you 2 or 3 days of extra joy that help you do your other serious work. You're not getting the same value out of those fun processes. Instead of getting 2 or 3, you're getting 10 to 12 hours. The next day you're back to doing it, which means you have to put more and more effort into those entertaining things, which are not returning on investment time.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Do you have any artistic skills?
Not really. I have actually just bought a candle making kit.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of just start to play with. It's more just I just want to find the mixture of like creating my own different smells, and it's more that creative kind of idea. So I think that's
arts and crafty stuff.
Yeah.
Well, go on to Etsy and look at all the different arts and craft kits that you can buy, and every month get a new one.
Yeah.
Okay. 1 month it's candles, another month it's paint by numbers, another month it's something else. Okay, it's jewelry another month, until you find something that really goes. Or every month is the new adventure for you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that sounds Okay. Yeah, that feels good.
So in your heart of hearts, okay, how do you feel with where your life is now compared to 2 years ago when we first talked?
I feel in control of myself now, and I am just actually really enjoying actually really having both of my feet on the ground and in my body, and also definitely enjoying, I know I'm going into that spiritual side again, but really enjoying being so much more present in my body and seeing the effects of that with my clients.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is the real magic of like being really present and holding that space, and also seeing the in-between energies between my guides, their guides, and all of that energy in between. That's really magical.
And
And
it's
that's
because of the experience. And it's because of the experience of life you had before, with all those other personalities talking at you,
yeah. Okay.
which has left an imprint that you can see the multidimensional experience of yourself and a client, and all the ways the guides and guardians interact in the unseen world, and it's natural for you, not
Yeah.
unnatural.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that puts you
Yes.
light years ahead of a lot of other people.
Yeah. Yeah. I do, yeah. I'm starting to realize that that's where sometimes I can suddenly feel that feeling of responsibility of that. Sometimes I've got to be really careful because I almost could let that shut me down. I mean, I wouldn't, but I can feel that weight sometimes that feels a bit like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And I do know what to do with it, but it's sometimes it just, yeah, I like, I still want to say it's scary.
Only because you haven't given yourself the next level of trusted experiences as the practitioner and experiencer. When you get to that higher number of clients, 200, 400, 600 individual clients, all of your perspectives about clients will change.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many clients do you think you're at now if you were to total all the unique experiences up?
I know I've put so far in my career probably about 1,000.
Okay. About 1,000. So you've reached that point where the next level of perceptive evolution for you is how many more real variety types are going to come to your table? Very
Okay.
few.
Right.
You've
Yeah.
experienced in the first 1,000 clients generally what's going to come to you in the many equations that lead you to a diagnosis and what takes them to a healthy state.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That means you achieved master level. Just accept it now.
Okay.
Okay? That's when wow and fear turns to pure guided intuition.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
And that's the part of the transformative journey that you're on now.
Yeah. 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 It was really interesting because where are we for, yeah, it was, oh, actually it was a week tomorrow. Yeah. So yeah, Friday last week I was up the mountain and I literally had the dragon come to me, and I see him, but I've never really allowed them to come near or had that connection, and being told it's now time to accept the next part of the journey. Yeah. And I was just like, okay, I can't really argue when I've got that. And I think, yeah. And I still have doubted. Now I've got, yeah, hearing that confirmation from you, I'm like, I've just got to stop this now or not. I ain't got time to slow down.
You are not a beginner anymore.
Yeah.
You are past the intermediate stage, and you are at the stage you're accepting. I've mastered this work with 1,000 individual clients that I've done. I have the endurance to do it. I have the capacity to continue to do it. Now it's time for me to accept this so Spirit can bring me the next evolution of clients who need an self-illuminated master.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Mm. And
So what are you going to do? What are you going to do in Belgium?
So I'm working with my very good friend over there. So she works with the inner child, and I was going to use my Akashic ability to work with people's inner child from that kind of more higher level, so that actually together with her groundedness based in therapy and kind of using that spiritual skill, hopefully we can create a really powerful day of healing the inner child.
Yes, you can easily.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Have you written any stuff out? Any of your teachings out? Or are you going to wing them all?
I've got notes.
So you're winging it. You're winging it. Notes are notes. You don't have a written formulated step 1, step 2, step 3. You should really try to work on that. Okay.
Right,
even if it's incomplete when you get there, it's some structure to start with. Okay. When I do my speeches at my live events, all of my speeches have been written out, and I time them for pacing, and I use I actually use a teleprompter, but I'm not reading it. It's just there as a pacing journal or a reminder, don't miss this topic. Because in the journey of writing it, I've memorized it. In the journey of organizing step 1, step 2, 3, I've rememorized it. And in the journey of practicing, I've learned my pacing so I don't miss subject matters. Or sometimes I grab something from the end and something from the beginning because the group of people in front of me can process more.
Right. Okay. No, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Even if it's just bullet points. Okay.
Yeah.
That's how all my speech notes started out as bullet points. And then each bullet point would have 2 or 3 sentences under it, and then 2 or 3 paragraphs, and then 2 or 3 pages. And so it was a complete document.
Complete. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's something that'll take a couple weeks to come together. It's not something you just throw together 1, 2, 3. Again, it's part of the memorization journeys, because once it's committed to memory, your super genius can put together teachings that you've never had before. And that's what I do live on air. I also do this in my live events too.
Right. Okay.
Teachings that have never been created before, even thought of, come up in the moment because of the energy of the people present.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay. Actually, that actually makes me feel a lot more settled now, actually thinking about June, because that's going to be my first kind of the biggest event. Oh, well, definitely since the pandemic time. So actually, no, that feels good to, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, anything else you want to talk about?
The only question I'd like to ask that I'm a little bit always unsure about is, so I grew up in a place called Canterbury, which is in the southeast of England. And I don't know if you pick up anything about that area, because I always found it a very interesting kind of place energetically, where I'm not sure if it was kind of that kind of haunting ancestral energy that would cause times to be a bit weird, or it just was, or because I'm not sure, because it's obviously the head of the Anglican Church there, with the Archbishop of Canterbury. I don't know if it was all interlinked with that.
All right, the first thing to understand, it's a very haunted area.
Right. Okay.
And I mean very, very haunted.
Yeah.
Separate of the church. Long before there was ever a church there were other religions that dealt with the haunted energy. It's because the coast of France is visible on a good day every day.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You have 2 separate bodies of land separated by a deep body of water, but at one point in time, there was no water there, and they were all one land.
Yeah.
And the tear in the fabric of reality, when the waters changed and they became separate places, is why that particular area, and then the inlets leading into London, and then Portsmouth is further, Portsmouth is, south into the west, is where you have the massive amount of energies that collect on those coasts.
Okay.
And there used to be an entire breed of shamans that would stay by that coastal energy, harvest that coastal energy, put it into objects of prayer, and then take them to the various trade routes and have them sold throughout the world.
Right. Okay.
It's a place where a magical craftsman can make very powerful magical tools if they know what they're doing.
Right. Okay.
And that's why I suggested crafting to you, a variety of them. And you might just learn to make specialized magical tools.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about a crystal necklace with a feather on it, hippy dippy shit. Something that's truly a tool of magic.
Yeah. Yes.
Like finding a tree that's been struck by lightning, harvesting different pieces of wood off of it, embedding crystals into it, so you're making a very unique magical wand of high power.
Yeah. Yes.
Really artistic the shit out of it. Okay?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you reminded me when one of the last sins I did in Canterbury, because I was really struggling with this energy that came out of nowhere. I built out of clay kind of my own little water feature, and I managed to get the water moving, and I added copper and crystals into it and totally kind of changed the energy. But it just resonated with me of what you just shared, which I appreciate, of going, I kind of understand maybe I was tapping into that without knowing, kind of on a conscious level.
You were. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, when you actively tap into it, going, hey, I'm going to begin the journey of learning crafting and getting good at it. And the beginning, my shit will look like stick figures. Okay.
Yeah.
But eventually it'll get good enough where it doesn't look like shitty beginner stuff. And I've begun the mastering journey, and the rest is my personal alchemy.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. No, that's wow. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot for calling in, brother.
Cheers. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Bye.
Yeah, Joel, is the Galactic Bard back?
I do not see him in the chat or in the room at the moment. No.
All right. Let's call an end to the show. We've been going almost 2 hours already, nonstop, people to people to people. Remind everybody, the boot camp is up there. The QR code's in the top left corner. That's for boot camp number 2. I highly advise you to go and check it out if you're ready to begin that journey. We're also open for private sessions. You go to my website, andrewbartzis.com, and we now have a automated booking system to simplify everything for you.